October 17th with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're going to begin tonight with a public hearing on additional use for preschool by Ashley Jaworski. Is Ashley here?
Yep.
And I apologize for you. It's Miguel Jaworski. Right now, I'll turn the meeting over to Rick to conduct the additional use hearing.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lavati. My name is Rick Finucci. I serve as solicitor to the Board of Supervisors of Scott Township, and this is the time and date that has been duly advertised in accordance with the provisions of the Pennsylvania Municipalities Planning Code, as well as the Scott Township zoning ordinance, for the supervisors to hear the conditional use application of Ashley Jaworski, whose address is 19 Cachetta Lane. It's K-A-S-H-E-T-T-A Lane. Jaworski is P-I-W-O-W-A-R-S-K-I. Scott Township, Pennsylvania. To seeking approval to operate a preschool / child care center at property owned by William and Phyllis White, located at 1705 Layton Road, Scott Township, PA.
The actual address.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
I apologize. So the address of the location, that was 1705 is Layton Road is the address of Mr. and Mrs. White, the owners of the property. The location is 815 Justice Boulevard, Scott Township, Pennsylvania. Just some preliminary matters. I am aware that the hearing was duly advertised. Mr. Farrell, have we received back the advertisement affidavits from the Scranton?
Affidavits from the Township. The ad ran twice, 2 consecutive weeks, 7 days before the hearing, 7 days yesterday, prior to the hearing. The property was posted, the fees were paid, the application was received. This was reviewed by the Planning Commission at their October meeting, and the application recommended that it be reported to the supervisor with no additional conditions for approval.
Okay, so what we may have to do is first put Mr. Farrell under oath, so he can restate everything he just said. Sorry.
Please raise your hand. You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Help you God.
Okay. So if we could just run through, I'm sorry, we could run through that one more time. So let's start with the affidavits from the Scranton Times.
We have not yet received the affidavits from the Scranton Times, however, the ad was run 2 consecutive weeks, several days apart, the last one being 7 days before the hearing. The application was received, the fee was received, and the application was reviewed by the Planning Commission at their October meeting, which was held October 2nd, and it was recommended for approval to the supervisor with no additional conditions.
I think you also indicated the property had been posted,
duly posted,
and
notification.
fee has been paid. Right. So with that, gentlemen, we'll turn it over to the applicant. Ashley, if you want to get up and identify yourself, and then just tell the supervisors a little bit about what you have in your application and what your plan is.
Okay. I'm Ashley Jaworski. My plan is to open a preschool in the old Canine Corral building. I will be able to have 37 children according to the Pennsylvania standards for what they require. I would like to put a playground outside on when you're looking at the building, it would be on the left. The parking is already there. My degree, I do have a degree in early childhood education.
Okay, so if I could, Ashley, I see that the check that you submitted is in the name of Creative Scholars Preschool LLC. What is that?
That is my current business name.
Is that the business that will be operating at this location?
I am changing the name due to copyright issues.
Okay. What will be the name of the entity that will be,
As long as it's
At this location.
approved by the state of Pennsylvania, it will be Scholars in Training Preschool.
would you have any objection if we amended your application tonight to list that entity as a co-applicant along with you? Because right now you're just the sole applicant.
That's fine.
Okay, so what's that name again?
The one that it will be or the one that it currently is?
The one that you plan to operate?
Okay. Scholars in Training Preschool, and it will be LLC.
So, now, is this this is the building at 815 Justice Boulevard that used to be the former retail store?
Yeah.
Canine retail store, Canine Pro?
Yes,
And you're not using any other building on that property?
I am not.
Mr. Farrell, there was a plan, a site plan submitted?
Yes.
You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. The site plan shows the existing structures. There's really nothing added except for the position of the proposed playground as well as the water and sewer line, because current Canine Corral building currently does not have water or sewage service. They do have a well on the property, however, though, so the well will be extended over to the old canine building or the new preschool building, and the building will be connected to the Scott Township Central sewer line. So that's shown on the plans where that would be and where the proposed playground is. We do also have copies of the submitted with the application were copies of the highway occupancy permit for that, the driveway, as well as the supplemental application to change the use.
Now, is this the actual permit? Oh, yes, yes. The application and the permit. Ashley, along with your application, there was a document entitled Scholars in Training Enrollment Packet. Can you
Yeah.
tell us what that is?
That is just what I would require from my parents. Mr. Ferraro said the more I can provide you with, the better. So that's my daily schedule. It says that the students will be 3 to 5. It's paperwork parents will have to fill out to enroll them, medical forms, things of that nature. I also included my parents' handbook, which
Yes.
will be things that are required, and again, it goes through my curriculum and what my day will look like.
Copies for the gentleman? Yes, please. Extra one. One of each of those. So Ashley, while they're reviewing some of these, just maybe a couple more questions for the record. So you have to have you submitted an application to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania to operate a daycare?
No, not yet.
So this is a prerequisite to you doing that?
Correct, I need the occupancy permit.
You're familiar with the regulations that are out there?
It is
over
a
daycare?
very thick stack of paper, yes. I have submitted it to you.
For good reason.
Yes.
I expect you're fully ready and able to comply with all those regulations.
Yes, I am. I'm excited to do so.
In addition to this hearing, that would be all the approvals that would be needed. There would be, they'll have to put tenant fit out for that building, so it will require building permits, building inspection, for code, in addition to the state's inspection for the daycare / preschool. So that would all have to happen.
let's do this. Would you mind swearing her in, and I'm just going to ask her a few questions.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And you swear everything you said thus far is the truth?
Yes,
Thank you. She did it for me.
she did.
I apologize. Better late than never. Gentlemen, any questions of Ms. Bielwarski? I'm sorry?
No,
You're good at?
What are going to be your months and hours of operation?
My school day will be 9 to 3, and then my before care, I would like to do 7 to 9, and then my after will be 3 to 5:30, 3 to 5. It'll really be determined on what my parents need once I get to that point.
And are you going to be open during the summer months as well, or are you?
Yes,
So you're 12 months of the year?
yes.
Carl, when's the that on a neighborhood business or commercial?
Neighborhood business, and this is as a conditional use in that zone, so.
And remember that the definition of a conditional use is a use that's permitted in the zone after review and approval pursuant to the express standards that's provided for in the ordinance. So basically, it's a use that's contemplated to be allowed in the zone, just allowing the supervisors to take a look at it before you approve it. And you're allowed to impose any reasonable standards and conditions on it. Speaking of, under section 608.4, the standards and criteria for conditional use, Mr. Ferraro, did the planning commission go through these elements? And
They're familiar with them, they reviewed the application, and most of them don't apply, but.
yeah, I mean, I would agree. I mean, in reading the application and hearing what I'm hearing the use is going to be, there are a lot of NAs, not applicables, that otherwise would appear to be in line with those standards, gentlemen. Okay. Mr. Nolde, Mr. Russell, you okay?
Yeah.
Okay, Ashley, you can sit. I see Mrs. White is here.
Yes, all right.
As the property owner, do you want to just maybe just say a quick few things? We will have you sworn first.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, it is.
Your name and address for our clerk.
Phyllis White, 1705 Layton Road, Scott Township, PA. I'm the property owner, Can Gravity 15 Justice Boulevard.
And Phyllis, Ashley has your consent to, she's renting this property?
Yes.
Okay, they have your consent to
Yes,
utilize this property
absolutely.
for the purposes she stated.
I think it's very positive for the township.
Very good. Okay, any member of the public here to address this application? Rose? Just
Well,
Rose,
it's
your name.
Rose, K-N-I-C-K.
Thank you.
I have a question. The playground is going to be outside.
Yes.
Yes.
How is it being contained?
The state is very specific on the type of fencing that's required. The playground would have to be inspected for the surface that it's put on, as well as the toys that are put on it, and then the fencing that is used around it. It is all spelled out in the regulation.
So it'll be completely fenced in?
Yes.
Because that's Route 347, which is a very busy road. And presently, there's two businesses that expanded for across the street. You got people walking across the street, so I hope we don't have any tragedies. So that's why I want to know, make sure this playground was contained.
Any other questions?
No, that's it.
Anyone else wish to address this application? Seeing none. Any other comments before I ask for a motion to adjourn? Okay, Mr. Chairman.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the conditional use hearing. And to proceed.
Well, you know what, before we, one more thing. All the exhibits, the application packet that she's identified and walked through, we'll collectively mark it as board exhibit number 1. Okay?
And we'll continue into,
You,
you heard to leave, or?
oh, that you, Trish, you want to go up first? Twice before.
I was glad, so I just got to what was. That's fine. On motion number,
You call to order the regular business meeting.
I'll call it, you guys let you get to it.
And you're finished.
You're done.
Yeah.
We'll call the regular October 17th business meeting to order now. We already did the pledge. Instead of making the applicant wait, I suggest we move on to the motions. What motion is that? 5. On motion 5. Do I have any public comment on motion 5? Does the board wish to proceed with making that motion now, getting it over with?
I would just have one recommendation as far as maybe just some very broad conditions. And my suggestion would be that the application be approved, conditioned upon, you know, the following through with the connection of to the central sewer and the well from the other property, and that the applicant follow all conditions and criteria imposed by law on daycares. Yeah, the well, the sewer,
Which would actually be part of that's part of this anyway.
and another sewer, well, and comply with all conditions imposed by law.
I'll read 5 again.
Didn't have to.
It'll read to approve conditional use submitted by Ashley Poworski to operate a preschool/child daycare center at 815 Justice Boulevard with condition hooking up to central sewer and well and complying with all conditions for lot. Any comment on that?
Thank you, Mr. Agency.
With that being read, I'll make that motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. Congratulations.
Approved.
You're approved.
Carl will follow up with a letter. Just be advised that under the law, there is a right of someone to file an appeal to this within 30 days from the date of the decision. So you can proceed, but you're proceeding at your own risk until that 30 days expires. Okay?
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks.
We'll now conduct the Shields bid project openings. I think we received 8. Oh,
Carl's got one here, but I don't know what is it.
I have to ask. I'm not sure. If you don't mind.
You want me to open them
Yes.
and look, you read them, or you'll write, I'll read them? Okay, first bid is from E.R. Lindy Construction.
That'd be a big word.
Okay, we had alternates too, Gary. Okay, base bid is $138,187.75. Bid alternate number 1, $60,277.61. Bid alternate 2, $10,500 even. That's it, right? I know, really. There you go.
Good thing you're not married.
Get through the rest. Sorry. This is one of those plastic ones that wasn't tied back. Okay, the next bid is from H&K Group Incorporated out of Skipack, PA. Base bid, $160,217.50. Bid alternate 1, $88,055.50. Bid alternate 2, $12,300.
Hanson.
Next bid is from Hanson Aggregates. Base bid, $149,839.75. Bid alternate 1, $73,737.25. Bid alternate 2, $13,500.
Wico.
Next bid is from Waco Incorporated from Waymart, PA. Base bid, $108,905.92.
Can you read that again, Rick?
$108,905.92. Alternate number 1, $50,304.12. Alternate 2, $70,590.
What was that again?
$70,590, 70590.
7,590 words.
Oh, it's a typo. All right, so we have to look at this. So typed out, you're right, I was only looking at the numeric number. So they have typed out $7,590, and then in parentheses, 70590. So it must be 7,590. We'll have to- I don't know where this stands. I'm not tracking it, but we'll have to look at that, Gary, as to whether
That's more like it.
Okay.
American Asphalt.
Okay, next is American Asphalt out of Shavertown, PA. Base bid, $151,841. Alternate 1, $76,009. Okay, it appears bid alternate 2, $9,600.
Enterprise Stone
New Enterprise Stone and Lime Company, Clifford, PA. Base bid, $137,062.50. $137,062.50. Bid alternate 1, $65,004.60. Bid alternate 2, $8,400.
Valdar.
Raldar, R-A-L-D-A-R Enterprises, Main Street, Dixon City. Base bid, $203,854.35. Bid alternate 1, $97,143.85. And Bid alternate 2, $7,800.
Fancy Supply.
And this is the last bid. Penzi Supply, Pittston, PA. Base bid, $130,280.20. Bid alternate 1, $60,535.50. And bid alternate 2, $10,500. So those are all the bids. I'm guessing they'll have to be
I just have a quick question.
referred for review by the engineer.
Gary, the base bid was the whole complete length of the road?
Shields Road from Creighton Road to Strawham Road. Mike Leo, Aurora. Mobilization, 1.5 inch, 9.5 millimeter, driveway adjustments, 120 pounds of 542 tons of leveling course, 500 square yards of base repair. So, you know, getting pretty good. It's not just an overlay. There's base repair in there and other improvements.
That's only from Shields to Creighton, or from Strawham to Creighton.
Strawham to Creighton.
Right.
What's the difference between bid alternate 1?
Alternate one was from Stratton down to 438.
Strawham to 438 is pretty much the same treatment.
Or is that from the
There's
top of
not
the
a
hill?
much-
Is that from the top of the hill?
Right at,
Right on Mark.
from Strawham to Montville Road, yes.
Yeah,
It
top
would
there.
connect, it would
Okay.
connect with the first section bottom. And it gets the same treatment, except it's a shorter run, so the square yards of 1.5 inches is a little bit less. And that's not in near the condition that the other half is, so there's 110 square yards of base repair there. The base repair is, it's a big ticket item. There's probably 1/3 of what's on the other half of it.
We never got a demo out for it, scratch coat.
That's, no, it's, sub-base backup is alternate 2.
Okay.
Have 542 tons in your base bid for scratching.
And 2 would be what, just fixing patching? What was the alternate?
Alternate two was shoulder back up.
Just shoulder?
Alternate 3 is just shoulder back up for it, you know, where, you know, you're only bringing it up 1.5 inches in your leveling course and so forth, but there's areas that are significantly low now, and you can back it up and just save the edge of the pavement. There's sometimes a trade-off with having the township world crew do it, or having the contractor do it. The cost of the material at the time, like in your bid alternates 2, for the most part, you know, they're fairly good prices for that alternate 2, you know. Buying the material, their machinery is there already, you know. Especially with Waco and New Enterprise, you know, they've got their own quarries and stuff, so the material is less expensive for them.
And we can proceed with either alternate this year, correct? I mean, not this year, but this is never going to get done. The contractors were pretty much notified it's not, if it was to be approved, it would be the next spring. There's no way they're going to get it done this year. They're fully aware, they'll be fully aware of that. Gary, we can't proceed if we want to pick alternate, say alternate bid 1, and just proceed with that and cancel the base bid, or no? Maybe we only wanted to do that. What I'm saying is, we only wanted to do Strawham down to, I thought that's how we were.
If take the alternate, not the base bid, it becomes a similar change that we've already
Okay.
had. That's like a 50% difference. To take the alternate rather than the base bid.
So we have to basically do the one part first, the 108,000, and if we wanted to add the second part, we could add the second part, that's the one. I just want to clarify that.
And all these companies are offering the same service? Everybody's offering the same material?
I don't think there's anybody on the list, Bob. The only one I don't know is that Raldar, but I would suspect that they're tied in with another paving company. They're rather new. But like Waco, Glow, Penzi next, and New Enterprise in the third place, and even Lindy in fourth, you know, they're all really reputable. We've worked with every one of those companies this year.
Yeah, but I mean, the price difference, are they giving us less for the less bid, or is everything still the same?
It's just, you know, you take a look at Waco's at 108, and then Raldar at 203, you know, it's just, you know, the Raldar doesn't want to work, but what you're getting is, you know, if they don't do it this year, they're gonna do it next year, so they got work on the books already, so that they can bring their men back.
Waco's done, they did Hilltop, Carmel, Mary, Ackerley, they did Hilltop and Mary, I believe, the first time, about 25 years ago. They did a pile of work for the township. Waco's a highly reputable. They're the only ones we haven't had problems with, Mike. Pretty much you say that
Waco is, they've owned their own machinery for years, and like if you were to put Waco down in the valley where you have a lot of manholes and gas valves and water shut off valves, they'd be right up there too, because you're going back to a lot of handwork. But, you know, when they're working on a road like you have, without a lot of utilities in it and stuff like that, they adjust their scales considerably.
Okay, thank you.
Mary, you'll review these and we'll look at it next month's meeting, make a decision on whether to. All right. Any other questions on the meeting? Zoning, Carl.
No, my report's finished.
Mark?
Sure. Good evening, folks. Gerard Hutton from Lackawanna County Commissioner's Office. First, I'd like to start off by thanking the township, supervisors, staff, and residents for allowing us to hold one of our 2018 budget hearings here on Thursday, November 2nd. It's actually the last one of the day. We're required to have 4 public hearings on the proposed budget according to the county's home rule charter. So we actually this year have them all on that same day, Thursday, November 2nd, 10 a.m. at the Commissioner's Conference Room in the County Administration Building in Scranton, and then 12:30 at the Moscow Borough Building, and 3 p.m. at the Oliphant Borough Building. The one here is at 6 p.m. That's the last one of the day. So looking forward to it. Thanks for having us. Sure. On that note, on Friday, the 13th of last week, the Commissioners unveiled their tentative 2018 general fund budget for public review. The entire document, I don't have it with me now, it's about 140 pages. You can download the whole thing in PDF format on the county's website at lackawannacounty.org. We do have our budget message here. It just goes through some of the fine points of the budget process, talks about some of the things commissioners and the staff have done to make it an efficient process for this year, reducing our debt service, reducing our interest rates on certain borrowings, just different priorities they've had. Of course, the budget, you've probably heard, the previous meeting does not have a property tax increase. The millage stays the same at 57.42 mils, so the same rate as proposed at this time. Of course, the commissioners have to do 2 public readings of the budget after the hearings. Normally that'll happen at the 2 commissioners' meetings in the month of November before it's adopted. So until then, everything is still tentative, but that's what it looks like as of now. So we'll leave the budget message is just over 2.5 pages. And then Commissioner Cummings also did her own budget message this year. It just says that she's continuing to review the budget as it goes through the adoption process. She encourages the public to do the same, and that our office is open for any comments, questions, or suggestions that anyone has on the budget as proposed. So the other 2 things we'll leave, we just continue to remind people about this Hey Grandma scheme that the county's area agency on aging and some local police departments continue to see. That's a process where a scammer will call someone, normally an elderly individual, and say to them that their child or grandchild has either been injured or is locked up, incarcerated somewhere after having committed some type of crime. And the caller then asks for either Walmart and or Target gift cards, normally amounts of hundreds of dollars, in order to help that person who needs help in their family allegedly. So we just want to mention it because it seems to still go on from what we've heard from police and the area agency on aging, particular one police department in the North Pocono area. Yeah, the one department was hit up with someone who's victimized for about $30,000 in Target and Walmart gift cards. As crazy as it sounds, but it's the real deal. So we try to share that with everyone and just make folks aware that it's still an active presence in our community, unfortunately. So that's all we have. Again, we'll see you guys if anyone wants to come to that hearings. They're all open to the public, and normally we go to a township or a borough. A lot of times some of the local officials come out and some folks come to the meetings regularly. So you can all join us and check out the budget for this year. So thank you.
Thank you. Public comment on agenda items? Yes, Rose?
Motion 6 to terminate the contract with Rock Bottom on the salt shed. Are there going to be any legal repercussions being that this was designed, was bid, and awarded, and now it's being revised and changed, and they've spent, they submitted a bill for $24,800.
Can't discuss legal opinion here, Rose.
I'm not asking for a legal opinion. I'm just bringing it to your attention that the legal repercussions for terminating for something that somebody bid on already.
We're fully aware of those, Rose.
To authorize, number 7, you're gonna re-advertise the salt shed bid. Could you give me, is that, do you have the final design? Because I have a bill here from, an invoice from KBA, actually from 10/3 of 2016, that this project has been started on. And now all these changes are made. That's another $4,800 bill on top of the $24,800. And plus, then the law firm of Finucci had to review salt shed issues, which was an additional $430. So now we're up to like $30,000 on this project. And I want to know who's going to, are each of you going to are you going to be surcharged? Are you all going to chip in $10,000 apiece? Because that's like misuse of public monies. I mean, it was designed, it was bid, and it was awarded. On Rock Bottom's invoice, one of the items is excavated footers 3 separate times under a supervisor's request. That's insane. Why wasn't it, I mean, we have a well-qualified engineering firm, so why wasn't all of this settled beforehand? I want to know, actually, I don't even know if you can proceed with it until you get some sort of opinion from someone. This $30,000. It's lost.
We have a legal opinion, Rose.
Well, number 8. This law firm is for labor law legal service. Which labor?
Rose, I would have to dismiss myself from that. Attorney Finucci, can you answer that question?
What labor?
The road crew has filed a petition for unionization, and this law firm is being retained to represent the township on that issue.
So what's the status of it?
It just happened.
Oh, it just happened?
Yeah, it just started, yeah.
Okay.
There's no status yet.
Okay, and number 9.
Petition is just filed.
Number 9, to authorize the shooting range on the township property. Has that been approved by our insurance carrier? If it's a good location, if all safety factors are in place so that there isn't any liability?
Absolutely, Rose.
Do you have that is that documented? Can I have a copy of that letter?
Carl will supply you with one.
Okay.
I'd also like a copy of that letter.
Pennsylvania Game Commission was also called. They do not regulate shooting ranges. All the proper backstops meet. Attorney Finucci reviewed it. He had experts review it, and all the proper steps were taken to allow it. You know, Pennsylvania state law does not regulate private shooting ranges.
There's a zoning issue that I brought up last time.
There's no zoning issue. We do not
There is a
regulate,
zoning
we do
issue.
not regulate.
It's in a
shooting.
development district. And the
Do not
development
regulate
district
zoning.
the development district that that property is located in does not allow for a shooting range anywhere. Attorney?
Is this party, well, I wasn't going to report on it during my report, but this is public comment, so this will be this is your public comment, Mr. Winnock, right?
Right.
You have his name, Tom?
Yes.
So, do you want me to address it now? Or
Okay,
do you want me to
let's-
wait?
let's-
Okay, so I did, since the last meeting, review the issue, gathered the information I needed to gather, looked at the property, did the appropriate research. I looked at our ordinance, I looked at Pennsylvania law, and, you know, first of all, the ordinance, let's start with the zoning issue, perceived zoning issue, does not even address shooting ranges, but even if it did, it would probably only address commercial shooting ranges because it's not legal for people to fire weapons. There are gun laws and safety laws that they have to follow when they do that, but particularly in a rural community, it's very common for people to, you know, discharge firearms, as long as they're doing it within the scope of the safety laws and gun laws. So there is no zoning regulation. In fact, it's not even listed in our zoning, which technically means that it would be allowed anywhere in the township. But that being said, well, the information given to me is that this is not a commercial or private target range, that this is a township-owned range, and it's to be used for these limited purposes of law enforcement personnel, for training, for qualifications, and it would be, you know, very limited year-round as to when they would, you know, would use it. But
What's the definition of limited?
well, meaning that it's not going to be, you're not going to, I doubt you're going to see it every day of the week, every week. It's probably when they need to target practice, or mostly when they need to qualify, from what I
You're
understand.
qualifying
You have
again
to
here
qualify.
this Saturday again.
Yes,
Yeah.
Three
yes.
or 4 weeks ago, they qualified again. I mean, how many?
Till 9 o'clock at night, by the way.
Till 9 o'clock at night.
What I understand about that is that to me, I understand it did happen. We were aware of a complaint, I think, Mr. Smartowski,
I
both
called
of
the
you called.
police.
Okay, we're aware of that.
And the fine young officer was.
And I too inquired about that. What I understand the answer is that the reason it was done at night is because they were doing their is it once a year, Carl, or once a
A couple of weeks ago when they were qualifying, that was 2 guys who had yet to qualify with the ARs. They were newer guys, so they had to qualify with them. This was the entire department doing their annual requalification,
A couple weeks ago.
which includes dim light fire, which is why they have to do it at
A
night.
couple weeks ago, there was a lot more guys than 2 guys firing over there. It went on for hours and
There was 3
hours
shots
and
for 8 hours, and there was 3 individuals. One was the instructor, and 2 was, I can give you the officers' names.
So the nighttime, nobody's really going to target practice at night. It's just not going to happen.
But they're doing it.
Well,
They're required.
They had to do what's called this dim light / dark qualification. It was for that limited purpose.
Rick,
Well,
they shot there Saturday to qualify again, right? The police department. Sunday, there was somebody there shooting again. I don't know who it was, but somebody's over there shooting.
Well-
Besides the law enforcement officers, you created a spot for people to just go, and they're
No.
gonna do it.
Well,
It's
we're not
happening.
going to allow it. In fact, and I didn't finish, but
Okay.
I also asked about the insurance. Carl did inquire with our insurance carrier. We are covered. There's absolutely no issue with that. And I also understand that in investigating this, that the target range was constructed and is set up in a way that complies with all regulations.
How is it
It's not
constructed?
pointed, like nobody will be firing toward houses. It's got the proper backs, in fact, more than adequate back
And that
stop.
was all constructed without anybody's approval. We just did it. Spent township money.
It was intended, well,
Who
to
authorized
finish
it?
that, there is a motion on tonight
I know that.
to approve.
Well, after
And
the
that was
fact.
at my recommendation, but also to document that it's what it's limited for. And that is going to be the limited purpose for law enforcement training, practice, and required qualification. It's not open to the public, it is strictly for law enforcement personnel. So, but you're right, it hadn't been.
Who gave authorization for these police officers to start this?
I don't
In
think-
the beginning?
I don't, well,
No
I-
one did, because you have it here to get authorization right now.
because it was the township people, I think it was probably understood, and maybe mistakenly and unintentionally, that they, because it was only our people, the township people, that they didn't have to, get approval. But
Well, they shouldn't
I pointed
have
out that
to
they had to
take
do
that
that, and
idea.
they're abiding by that.
You
They're
always
gonna
need
prove it to
approval
them.
when it comes to that.
Yes.
Police are here to serve
It's after
the
the fact,
people. The police are here to serve people, not to disturb the people and their rights.
And ma'am, your name is what?
My name is Ann Kreiner.
Okay, so Tom, did you get, so this is your turn for public comment. We go in order, but we'll let you.
Could I make your recommendation on motion 9 with prior notification of the chief of police? This way, there was nobody supposed to be out there Sunday unless they were cleaning up. I went out there checking today, all the shelves were cleaned up, casings, everything was cleaned up. This way, somebody at least knows if there's shooting going on a Sunday, they call.
I wouldn't have a problem.
So it's definitely over there.
I mean, it very could have well been the chief shooting, I don't know, that's what I'm saying, there should have been nobody there on Sunday shooting.
Before we
Absolutely
go
not.
on this, I made an audio recording with my phone, what it sounds like sitting on my deck. Can I play it for the board of supervisors to hear? So you understand what we're hearing, why we're complaining? And the noise is unbelievable.
It is.
This is on my deck. This is how loud it sounds. And this goes on for
That's
hours
quiet.
and hours.
That's right.
That's
Let
quiet.
me play you one at nighttime. Here's,
Sounds like a massacre in Las Vegas. Now, why should people have to go through this?
this is what we're forced to listen to at our homes. Because you wanna have a private shooting range.
Yeah.
The township police,
How many would like it to
the
do that?
township police
How
can
would
go
like
to
it?
the
I would love it.
game commission.
I figured
You're
you
right.
would.
Yeah.
I figured you would.
The township police can go to the game commission shooting range.
Yes, sure I do.
They can reserve it, and the game commission would close it to the public for the police to call.
So the game, here's the, and then we'll.
I know they don't regulate this range, I understand, but that range on Archibald Mountain can be reserved by the police department to qualify, and not have a private range here and create such disturbing conditions for them. That's our viewpoint, that's our problem. I bought 16 acres to live in the country in peace and quiet, and I gotta listen to this, that's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
I got 58 acres, I can't even hunt my property on Saturday. I got Saturdays to hunt. It's ridiculous.
My role was to look into this for them. I did issue a memo, a legal opinion to the board, and it's up to them to do what they feel they want to.
Okay, now, if there's a devaluation of my property, which there is now, and John's and anybody else in there within here interested in that, is the township liable to that if a person sues them?
It's hard to answer.
Hard to answer. You're supposed to answer that.
You have to speak to counsel, legal counsel about that. There's a lot of factors.
There will be a lawsuit eventually if this continues.
There's a lot of factors that would
Let's
play
read the second one.
given such a legal opinion, which is why I can't answer that. A lot of factors.
One more question.
Yes.
I'm taking care of Mr. Smardowski's mother, who has dementia. And when she hears that shooting, now you know when a person has dementia going into Alzheimer's, anything sets them up. She gets so panicky that it takes so much to calm her down with her health. Now, if you had a mother, or any of you had a mother with dementia and had a shooting range that close to you, would you like your mother going through that? I don't think you would at all. If you say you would, then I would never respect any one of you.
Anyone else?
Another fact, they're shooting towards my property, John's, Mr. Brenzel's up the hill. There's somewhat of a backstop there. There's nothing to stop an air bullet from going out on the way down to that backstop. It's not very high a backstop. There's a backstop, if you were at this position, say it's 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and you went over to the high bank towards that factory up there, it's a heck of a lot higher if you're gonna continue shooting than shooting that Mike walking path, which is, anybody wants to go over there and walk with me, I'll show them where my path is and where they're shooting. And we walked there with the dog, I don't know if we can walk there anymore. It's ridiculous, because how do you know where they're shooting?
You never know when their will could come.
But they're shooting over a low bank there, it's a very low
My wife was
bank.
terrorized, she was in the hospital, my poor little grandson was crying, I called the police, they didn't care. He says, oh, hey, there's no ordinance in the township to stop it, we can make all the noise we want. That's what the officer told me. You know?
Just think
I
you're
don't
walking
think-
their walking path and somebody opens up with machine guns up there, which they had.
Well, there are, from my research, I found out that there is, you know, regulations in allowing a shooting range. and
To what now?
Regulations.
To what?
That has to be built, to building a legal shooting range.
Is this gonna be considered a legal shooting range if it goes
Well,
through?
it's from safety standards. It
And
meets
who
all,
certified
my
that?
research revealed that met all safety protocol and standards and beyond.
Well, who certified that it's legal and safe?
That's the exact spot. Who picked that spot? On that property, it's such a big property, even in South is right above my
You're
well.
not an expert to comment to say it's
Well,
legal
no,
and safe.
no, I'm not.
Who certified it's legal and
I
safe?
am not. My research revealed that they were guided by people who. Firearms instructors. Firearms people.
Is it possible they can move it?
Does anybody here volunteer their information that I'm be a man enough, that they said this is the spot?
Yeah.
Somebody, is anybody here to say that?
Is this spot
This
possibly?
is the spot. There's better
moved?
spots than that. All I do is talk to the neighbors a little bit. We're not communists or nothing. We're not gonna fight them.
Why can't this be moved into an
There's a-
area where
there's a-
there's no homes?
There's a real high bank. We're not far from there.
There's so many land around here.
Well, even in that area, in the 31 acres, there's a heck of a high bank. Over below the ramp going down, that's really a high bank. That's a heck of a lot safer than shooting at
There's a well-
my property and John's and Aaron's up there and Brenzel's and everybody. They're shooting towards the houses. Backstop or not, crap happens.
There's a well-established range that the police can use at no charge. They can reserve it from the game commission, and there's no liability for the township. If an accident happens up there, you know who's getting sued. Okay? You want to accept that liability? Whether you have insurance or not. That's what's gonna happen.
Anyone else? Any more public comment? Move on to approve the minutes. I'll make a motion to approve the Board of Supervisors meeting minutes on September 19th, 2017. I have a motion. Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Police reports are attached to votes. Right now, I'm just hearing what the estimates were. We're $30,000 under what KBA's estimates were for Shields Road. It's $59,000 over what would have been 3 years ago when it should have been done on Shields Road. Our backhoe is out of warranty as of October 1st. Anything that breaks on it now is on Township. There's no extended warranty available. A new backhoe is $106,000. Trade value on ours is $50,000. That's something to think for.
How old is ours, Ed?
5 years old.
5 years old?
The payoff on the backhoe, we have a payment in here now of $14,000. We budgeted $28,000 to pay that backhoe off early. It's not on the minutes. I suggest if the board is up to it, maybe next month, put it on the agenda to pay the backhoe off early. It was budgeted to pay off early. That'd be up to the board to decide. We're getting snow plows and help the parts ready. We will maintenance all the equipment's just about done. Planning Commission reports, no report. Zoning officer reports attached. Tom, do you have anything? Finance report?
Ed, could I get back just a little bit and ask you something? On what was seconded on 2 minutes ago? I couldn't hear it. There was a motion and it was seconded.
Approve the Board of Supervisors meeting minutes of September 19, 2017. Financial reports, bills are attached. I will give my speech. Stephen? No. Bob?
I'm good.
We also have, did receive 2 thank yous. One from the Justice Fire Company for the work that was performed on their parking lot. As you know, they used their $7,000 that the township donated for paving of the parking lot. That was completed, I believe, almost a month ago now, and we received a thank you letter for the work that the road department did in prepping the lot and for helping with paving. And also we received another letter from Bill and Ruth Davis expressing their appreciation for the maintenance job on Peaceful Valley Road. It's basically, it's never been that good in 47 years. And basically that was because of the oil, that she felt that was the big difference on the road this year. Rick, do you have anything?
Just in supplement to what I reported on, the shooting range, that, again, my finding was that, it was in compliance with all laws, but I will say that I didn't address in my memo to the board, any perceived nuisance issues to the neighbors. I wasn't looking at it from that standpoint. I was looking at it from gun laws, zoning laws, and other, so I just wanted to condition my opinion on that when I issued that. So the only other thing that I would have that would be non-executive tonight would be the Mountain Sky issue. And if you recall, last month I was asked to, we did promise neighbors who were here that we would, continue our review of that. And I did do quite a bit of review over the past month of that, and I issued an opinion to the supervisors today that essentially was that we look at sending a letter to Mountain Sky now, at this time of year, telling them that their conditional use permit is under review to see whether it will be approved or not approved, and if not approved for next year, that they will be brought back in for another conditional use hearing before the board. So I think it's a way for us to continue our review with them, bring them in, sit down with them, look at what happened this past year. Let's address the complaints that we had, what they've done about it, what they didn't do about it, and determine whether or not we bring them back in before the Board of Supervisors and either revoke their permit or put additional conditions on them. So that's how I suggest we move ahead. All right?
Rick, I have a question on that. So you're reviewing their hours of operation?
Pretty much the whole operation. Under the, what I did was, I wasn't around in 15 when this was granted, so I had to review all the paperwork and the conditional use conditions that were issued in August of 2015. One of the things said, a review of this permit for music venue operations shall be conducted by the township on a yearly basis before the renewal of this permit is allowed for another year. If problems or issues are determined by the township to exist, the township shall have the right to request and schedule another public conditional use hearing to address the problems or issues found for the conditional use of the premises. So in other words, it's almost an ongoing year-to-year review. So my suggestion that we take that language, send them a letter now saying we're reviewing this. We're not guaranteeing you're going to be allowed to operate next year. That's pretty much what I'm saying. Tell them that now, haul them in informally. Let's go through this, let's review, and then determine, do we ship them to the Board of Supervisors to put more conditions on them, revoke their permit, whatever the case may be. So it's still ongoing.
Oh, okay, because this is kind of out of sequence, because I was here at the last meeting and you talked about hours of operation, and I've been here when there was approval for Mountain Sky and also for Reaper's Revenge, and actually, Reaper's Revenge, their own ad, is that they're allowed to be open till 1 a.m. It says right here. So where's the equality? And I'm not taking either one's, I'm not criticizing either one, but where's the equality for in this township where here it says Friday and Saturday 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. and yet you're going to send somebody else for a review of their use. So there should be, everybody should be treated equally. That's right here. This is their own public thing that they have. So I don't, I don't understand. I mean, and that's what's wrong with the township, is that it's all selective.
I haven't looked at Reaper's conditions in a long time, Rose. My memory, I think they had similar conditions placed on them that I just read. There's others, by the way, in here. I only read that one portion. But I think Reaper's had similar conditions, that we have the ongoing year-to-year opportunity to haul them back in if we don't like what's happening. The other thing was, Carl just mentioned to me that they stopped selling tickets by 11.
Yeah, it says that no admittance after 11, but the music and the noise and I've heard it, because I visit people in that area. You don't even have to be in that area, and you can hear, I don't even know what the noise is referred to, but I mean, it's certainly quite noisy.
We haven't had a single noise complaint yet this year.
Yeah, that's the difference. We haven't.
Well, that's probably because it's on deaf ears, and you have township people working over there. They're using the township lot for their bus transfers. They're passing out free tickets, so, you know.
And we answer every noise complaint that comes in, there haven't been any.
Right, because you tell them that you can't hear anything. But it's documented. You can't tell one business a certain time and then have another one right here that's open till 1 a.m.
They actually stopped music. We made them stop the music at 10 o'clock. Mountain Sky stops at 11. That was an issue with Reapers 2 years ago. If you recall, they were back in here. We changed their hours. They were allowed to have music. That's why the noise complaint stopped, by the way. But they actually stopped their music an hour before Mountain Sky asked them.
Well, it's still noisy there.
Rick, did you review Reaper's official use?
No.
Single complaint on it.
No, I haven't looked at that in a couple of years.
Thank you, Rose. That will move on to the motions. Motion number 9, to authorize the use of the shooting range on township property by law enforcement and training practice and requirements with notification from the chief of police. Should be added to that. Move on to the motions. I'll make a motion to pay the November payroll. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. I need a motion to pay the general fund and state fund bills as presented.
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. I need a motion to approve the financial reports as presented.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it. All in favor? Aye. I need a motion to award the paving of approximately 50 feet at the end of Ball Road and Taylor Road to Taylor Excavating for the sum of $4,500 each, labor over the township supplied materials. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. Number 5 was taken care of. I need a motion to terminate the contract with Rock Bottom Construction to construct the township salt shed. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it. All in favor? Aye. I'll make a motion to authorize the township engineers, KVA, to advertise the solid shed bids per revised construction specifications. Do I have a second?
I'm gonna hold off on that until I look at it. I don't even know what's on there. I'm not gonna authorize something I don't know anything to say.
Stephen?
No, I feel the same as Bob.
Rick, do you want to remind me of the reverter clause, or we're just going to motion die for
Reverter?
reverter clause on the property?
Well, you know, this issue with the salt shed is really it's drug out. The reason not KVA, Slipco, we purchased the property from him, put certain restrictions in your deed that it had to be, and I forget exactly what they were, but basically it would be used for township use, and they were requiring us to get this thing built. Am I right? I haven't looked at it in years, I'll be honest.
We have time on that.
We do?
Yeah.
So I do know there was some heat put on us about dragging.
I don't know, we could do it at the next meeting, I'd just like to see this.
Well, that's what he's asking me to address. I'm trying to call it the best I can. I don't remember the exact language.
They said they would like to see it by April 2018. They gave us a letter for the grant.
We got another letter?
No, that was the letter from them, when I talked about the letter for the grant from them, they were all for it.
Okay, I mean, I just don't understand how we can approve a change order for the sales exact plans last month and not approve this one. Motion 7, I guess fails for lack of a second.
Right.
Is there any room for comment?
That being,
The salt shed situation?
that being,
At the end.
Okay.
number 8, if you want to read number 8, I have abstained from number 8.
Yeah, I've advised, because Supervisor Lavati is currently employed by the township and with the road crew, I've advised him that he needs to abstain, not only from voting, but all participation, whether as a supervisor or as a road crew employee, from anything relating to the unionization of the road crew. He has to stay my advice is that he stay 100% away from it, not discuss it, not engage. So I would ask one of the other supervisors if they would read this and second this, number 8. Mr. Russell, maybe would you do the honor, please?
I need a motion to retain the services of Joyce, Carmody, and Moran, PC, for labor law legal services at a rate of $175 per hour per the fee agreement dated October 12th, 2017.
So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
A motion.
Second?
I abstain.
Second, Mr. Nolly, correct?
Yes.
And then all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Abstain?
Abstain.
Opposed. Okay, so we have two in favor, 0 opposed, 1 abstention. Okay.
Number 9, I'll make a motion to authorize the use of the shooting range on township property by law enforcement for training, practice, and required qualifications and notification to the chief of police.
Excuse me, I'd like to table this one ahead for a little more research and information. I mean, everywhere I shot, signs were put up that we were shooting. There's flags up and everything had a containment so persons can't wander onto the site or animals. So I'd just like to check out some state regulations to see if we can comply a little better before we give our approval to this motion.
Do I have a second? Not a second? Second, I'll fail too. Public comment in general.
This is not a salt situation. I have 30 acres below that shed, and they have a future subdivision. I won't do it. My kids will probably do it someday. And 30 acres, even at a price of $30,000 an acre, that's $1 million bucks. You know, close to it. Is there any provisions for this runoff from the tires that go on the blacktop outside the shed, like a sediment pond or something that could be cleaned out once a year, every 2 years or something? To catch this runoff from that salt so it doesn't get in my water supply area? And who do I see about water quality? Does it some outfit I see about that?
There's no collection system around the salt shed. One could be installed, but if you're going to make it effective, then it should be a line pond, where if whatever runoff would come off of the pavement in front of the shed, it wouldn't percolate into the ground. It would be contained in a lined catch basin of some sort.
Right, that's my point. I worked on them all my life, excavating and building cells.
It's possible.
Is there any reason why it's not in its makes already? Because it should be. It's
not
going to be
required
there.
by law.
It's not required by law, but by a little
The
compassion. It would
only
be.
requirement under DEP standards is that you can't construct a salt storage facility of any type in a floodplain or a floodway.
Shouldn't be on a side bill either, really. Where it's going to flow out to my property, 110%. If there is runoff, there's going to be runoff and contamination.
The main body of the salt is under a roof,
But when they back out with the tires and the trucks, they're gonna be solved. No question about it. We wouldn't wanna drink that water running off that pavement.
Anyone else?
It's a matter of
Yes,
time.
Rose. Yes, Rose.
Going back to the salt shed situation, I mean, it is total incompetence. Again, going back to this rock bottom bill. When you don't have any work sessions, where and when and who, did you people have an illegal meeting? I mean, here it is right under invoice. Excavated footers 3 separate times. $24,800 bill. That's absurd. It's not $24. Steve, you campaigned and said you were going to save us money. The money is like, I'm looking for the reindeer and the Santa Claus sled outside because that's what it's come to. I mean, the money is just being spent. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's right here. It's in black and white. I mean, anybody, it's open to the public. 3 times. 3 separate times for footers. You designed it. You put it out for bid. You awarded it. I'm telling you, somebody has to be held accountable for this monies.
Anyone else?
I'm not done. I noticed on the payroll sheets, I was under the impression when Mr. Telep was hired that he had so many months to get his CDL license.
Yes.
Does he have his license?
We'd have to speak to CEO representative.
He does, right?
Well, then why is he in CDL training and we're paying him? 3 different days, 9/20, 9/28, 9/29.
You just got the license last week, so maybe that's why.
Well, 9/20 he was in training, 9/28.
He was hauling loads in our trucks with one of our CDL drivers who practice those.
Well, the license should have been gotten. I mean, they have schools where you go and you get the license.
He did go to school to get his license finally.
Well, then, you know, like, why are we paying for training?
Anything else, Rose?
One more
Yes.
question, regarding the shooting range. You had made mention that somewhere in the deed with Slipco that when you bought that land, it was the sole purpose of building the salt shed. Are they aware it was established the shooting range?
I don't think it said salt shed, Mr. Winnock. I think that's for township use.
Is that letter available for me to see? Somewhere?
The deed is available. I'd have to pull it. I don't recall. It's been a while.
There originally was restrictions that weren't suitable for the township, because property was purchased a long time ago, and all those restrictions were taken out, so that property was purchased.
So would that be in the deed?
I'd like to say something too. I believe our officers need a place to shoot. I just want to check out if we can maybe move it a little bit, move it to that bigger bank you're talking about. There's some things in question. If we put a little containment around it, if we can make sure there's flags out, even at the end of the road, letting people know that the range is hot on that particular day. Just things like that I'd like to go over with them, and I don't think that's a lot to ask.
No, all those concerns were already addressed with the signage and the flags and the safety precautions.
Are they right at the beginning of the road?
You can, help me walk me
Check it out.
Yeah, check it out, it's not right. They're done with their
I
training.
encourage them to check it out.
Yeah, go up and look at it, there's all the grass planted, and,
And they don't have a lot of money spent on what's down there already for shooting range, I believe, do they? They have hardly any investment at all. in
no,
township.
3 loads of sand.
It's just a couple loads of sand. And
That's
like
it.
Mr. Nolley said, why can't we get together, we, as citizens, I think my citizen anyway, pay my taxes already, and get up there and take a walk and look at that high bank. And I appreciate that, Mr. Nolley,
Yeah.
very much, very, very much.
I know.
I'd like to be
So
part of
that's not
that.
going to address the noise issue, though.
Not addressing that issue.
The noise
There's
issue.
also state law.
And if the noise was only twice a year, it would be fine. But
Right.
Probably only once a year.
What we've experienced so far in the last couple of weeks, it's been at least 4 times. Somebody's been shooting.
Well, that's why the motion was.
Before qualifications. After qualifications.
Yeah, it should only be once a year, or an occasional, once or twice. When one of
If
the officers
that were the
go
case,
back.
it wouldn't be such an issue.
Yeah, that's it. That's all it should be.
You know,
That's why I said,
But
you
so
said
far we
somebody's,
haven't.
when somebody's there on Sunday, they shouldn't be there. So I don't know who was there on Sunday. The rest of
It's
them-
two Saturdays in a month.
Yeah.
Almost
That
every
was,
weekend.
that was qualification. They were qualifying.
Well, that's twice a year then.
Yeah. So it's not right.
That's it.
And not everybody can make it at the same time. Some people are on duty and they do have to qualify.
No, they all are required to be at the same time, just the A&R training, two separate classes. There's an 8-hour class for two guys that were required, that meets federal standards, and this was qualifying with the Jim White.
Who's on duty when they're all there? That's why it was so long.
I believe Lonnie Blank was on duty, and he just qualifies and then he calls committee response from there.
Okay.
I believe it was Lonnie, I could be wrong. Yes, it was.
The KBA did a Ball Road right-of-way survey. All the other township roads, do we have it documented, all the township roads, what right-of-ways you have? It's on file here? I can see all the township roads?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
Maps go back to 1800.
Oh, good. I mean, I just want to know where, if there's
That
a
one,
button.
that road, I believe, did not have a deed.
I don't know, it says conducted courthouse research.
Not all roads are deeded. Yeah.
There was no deed to that road.
Not all township roads. We don't have deeds to all our roads.
Do you have easements?
Not in some cases, but not in all cases, because the way that roads evolve over history is that you have it's a road just because it's been a road for basically 20-some years.
The beaten path.
The beaten path law. So basically once the road is there, it's there forever. Whether there's a deed or not, Rose, and the township code backs that up.
There, the portion of Ball Road, there's no record of that anywhere. We chase that back to the Durham County Courthouse where we do find some of them. There's nothing in Lackawanna County Courthouse, and PennDOT had no record.
Part of that cuts right to the corner of my property. Long Road, where it connects to Mostowski Road.
Yeah.
There's no. It cuts a good corner of my property.
There was nothing.
Anything else?
Could you tell me, how much rent did we receive from Reaper's Revenge for using the parking lot?
Nothing yet this year.
So you didn't negotiate anything?
At the end, it's $200 a night for as many nights as they use the parking lot.
Well, just a simple question. Where is that, number 4, where's that Taylor Road and Ball Road? Ball Road is right to my house.
Yeah, Ball Road's right here, Taylor Road's over on Five Corners on Kohler Hill.
So it's 2 different items.
2 different items.
I'm just curious. I think it was right to my front door.
It's all potholes at the end too.
My road's a little bit better than that road. That's a lot better.
Chad, do you have a question?
Yeah, I'm just curious, how many roads in the township are still single lane where 2 opposing cars cannot pass each other?
I'm aware, not really any.
Oh, okay. I documented a few of them. I drove around most of them.
There's some where they're tight.
Okay.
You can give me a list, I can look at them. Anyone else? I'll make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
I think Dale actually had a
Oh.
question.
I was just going to suggest, if it was possible, for the shooting range, a way for them to close it when the police weren't using it, because it's a heavily traveled ATV trail too. People might think like, they could go and use it.
There's posters, there's gates in the woods, they chain put up to use the main gate. If you start blocking the quad trails, you know what they're gonna do is put the left on there.
Well, I understand that, but no, I haven't been down there since it was put up, so I don't really know. But if there was a way you're saying now it's piles of sand, I thought maybe if there was a way they could block the actual shooting range out, make it so you couldn't actually physically use it. Because if I went down there in my quad, pull my gun out, put up a target and just feel like, okay, I can use it. If there was I don't know if there is or not, but if there's some way just to make it inoperable to use the actual sandbag.
I never really thought of that.
You know what I mean? If they could park something in front of it, just something to deter somebody from riding by and using it. Just to help for those guys on their northbound. I would like to use it.
So would I. To be honest with you.
You gotta find them, that's all, stops them. Give 'em a fine.
Yes, Rose.
Can't you go to the dollar store and buy a clock, fix that clock?
Thanks, Rose.
Batteries.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Battery
Second.
Use the battery.
I have a battery.